What's going on, everybody? This is B Red here.
And this is Postman.
Hopefully, everybody's having a good week or a good day. Whatever's good for you. Um, like always, this is Poor Therapy, and if you need some poor therapy, you can reach out to us and we'll set it up. We can literally talk about any situation. I'm willing to learn if I don't know anything about it, and yeah, we can go from there. How's your day, Sean?
It's pretty good. We're grocery shopping like usual
Every Thursday.
every Thursday. Uh, yeah, I mean, other than that, it was all right. Went worked out. Actually got pretty sweaty today. Mm, bought some weed. Well, you knew that.
Yeah, yeah, I did know that. Uh, let's see. My day today was about average. I mean, it's nothing really special. I went out to till my garden so I can start planting all my vegetables for next week. Hopefully, we don't get any more cold weather at night because that kills it. Uh, all my cucumbers died. I don't know why. So usually I have problems with watermelon. So I can't get watermelon to grow. But this time, out of the 7 or 8 seeds that I planted, 2 of them grew. But all my cucumbers died. So I don't know if it was because I mixed too much horse manure in with the dirt or whatever, to get all the minerals and everything that the plants need. I'll have to look into that. So I'm gonna have to replant, replant the cucumbers, and then Carmen wanted to work with her horse, and we got her out, and that was a disaster. The horse tried to kick us and everything. I had to get a whip and fix its behavior.
How often does she ride that thing?
Uh, she tries to work with it at least once or twice a week. She wants to try to work on it more, but you got kids, you got work and all that, so it's hard to fit in the time. And plus, since she's not that experienced with the horse, she has to work in the time to where I can be there as well to like kind of watch over because if something does happen, like the horse runs off or kicks her or whatever, she just wants somebody there to get the horse so it don't run into the road because we haven't had good luck with horses in our family. Uh, my mom had to pay a lawsuit. I forget which insurance company, but a dude hit one of our horses growing up, and then their insurance company sued for like 30,000 or something. Which the dude that was his car, I think, was like a 1990s like little gas saver car, so it was kind of junk. But yeah, so she had to pay that back to be able to get her license back and everything. So do not have good luck with horses. So that's why we just have the extra precaution and everything.
What's the longest that you've had a single horse?
Me personally,
Anyone
because I don't have
anyone
horses.
in the immediate family?
An immediate family. Hmm, I'm trying to think here, because like I said, I don't deal with them. Like I feed the one that's here just because it's here on my property, and I'm kind of
Like, how many horses have your sisters gone through?
uh
Because a single horse can live how old? How long?
usually about 20 so years, but they usually get them when they're like half dead because they're cheaper. So I don't know. I think the longest we had a horse was 13, 14 years maybe. But My opinion is don't get them. They're not worth it.
I don't like
Uh,
horses.
they're just a fancy yard ornament, and they cost way too much money. So, unfortunately,
It's a lot of maintenance.
it's a lot to deal with. It
Yeah.
is. It's like 3 times, 4 times as much work than a dog. But yeah. So done that. Um, put the horse back in the field. Then I came inside and was like, "Oh crap, we got the podcast this evening." And I was just trying to find anything interesting I could think of, or anything I could find on the internet. I found some stuff. It wasn't that special though.
You got politics.
Tiny bit, but not a lot.
Oh.
Um, last week was pretty hectic, as you know. Uh, my aunt and uncle lost their house to a house fire, and I had their truck, so they lost a couple vehicles, but they didn't lose the truck because I had it. But I almost lost my car, which I was kind of hoping I would. I only got like 1,500 or so left on it, and it's fully insured. And I've hit 6 deer with that thing. So if I would have known there was a fire, I would have parked a little closer to the house and just cashed out on the insurance on it. But yeah, they're getting a little better, getting some stuff here and there, and they're gonna try to fix up their other house that hasn't been lived in like 20 years. So it's gonna require a lot of work and whatnot. Um, let's see what else is going on. I think that's about it. Other than just the general life. Oh, so my oldest kid, Haven, she had her scrimmage or whatever for softball yesterday, and she thought it was just a practice because usually in practices or whatever, it's only like 20 people there, and she thought it was a practice. I was like, no, I was like, there's going to be another team there,
Mm-hmm.
and she started freaking out, started crying, like I don't want to do it, I don't want to go, and then I was like, well, that's too bad. Like we're already on the way, like we're paying for it, like you're going. So we get there. There's like probably about 90 to 150 people there because there's the kids on both teams, and then you got the parents for both teams, and you got the other people because this is like their first, like for both teams, like their first kind of game or whatnot. So there's more people than usual. As soon as she seen that, she like just panicked and just started crying, and I was like, "Oh my lord!" So I got out of the car, opened the door, forced her to put her cleats on, and then I forced her out of the car, and it was probably like a I don't know, like 60, 70 meter walk or whatever, or yards. So the whole time we was walking, just tears going like, I don't want to play, I don't want to play. And I was like, no, I was like, you're playing. So we go to the dugout, and then all the other girls see her, and then they're like, oh, what's wrong? And then she starts talking to them and whatnot. And then finally, I guess they like help her get through it or whatever. But after she hit the ball and she got to run around the bases and whatever, after that she was fine. But the beginning was a mess, and it was cold. I had to keep walking back and forth from the bleachers to my car, back to the bleachers. I did that like 30 times because the wind and the chill. I was like, phew. But yeah, so that was an interesting time. But I think that's about it for my daily life, whatever. So do you want to know what I wrote down?
Yeah, tell me.
All right. So the Department of Justice is seeking the death penalty for I'm gonna butcher the dude's name, Luigi Magoni, the dude that killed that CEO. I mean, me personally, I don't think he deserves the death penalty. There's worse people than that deserves the death penalty. What's your opinion? There's people out there that's killed multiple people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think.
I mean, and me personally, I mean, he's bringing attention to our healthcare shitstorm.
Yeah, I guess I don't think that it deserves the death penalty. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think what he did was right, but I don't think it deserves a death penalty.
I think he deserves probably about 10, 15 years. I mean,
no.
You don't think so?
Life.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of biased against insurance crap anyway. My personal opinion is insurance is a scam. And there's other people out there that murder people and only get 5 to 10 years. And the only reason why this guy is getting the death penalty is because it was a CEO of a top company, insurance company, and I don't know, I guess you could say the government wants to just make sure, like, all the CEOs, the government's got their back and whatnot. That's pretty much what I see out of it. Because the Department of Justice is trying this guy. It's not like any state court or like any other court like that. It's Department of Justice. So that's the government going after this guy. Government just doesn't go after anybody.
I've never heard of the Department of Justice.
You've never heard of the Department of Justice?
No.
Well, they usually only take cases that they 100% know that they can win, which, I mean, the guy got caught murdering somebody, so they can win that one.
I didn't know that was even a thing.
Yeah, but they're really only doing this for like the political view of, we got the CEOs back. On another note, I think it should be put into a law that if you're paying insurance and you don't use your insurance, I don't know, let's say like there's a term for it, like a term limit of like 5 years or 10 years, you should either get all that money back or at least half that money back. Because if not, it's a scam. I mean, it's pretty simple. And I have evidence of that myself, because when I hit a deer and I wanted to put a claim on my car, and I haven't used my insurance in 11 years. I haven't had a single claim the entire time I've had them. And then the one time I wanted to, fix my car hood, they was like, well, sir, if you do this claim or whatever, your rates are going to rise. And I was like, well, what about all the money I've paid in the last 10 years? I was like, what are you doing with that? Well, that's not how this works, sir. And then after that, I just ended it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not how it works, but I do agree. Insurance sucks.
Yeah,
like all types of insurance.
Yeah, there's no good insurance. Yeah. I can't think of any. But yeah. So end of that. On another note, U.S. honeybees. So that's our main, like, without honeybees, the U.S. would be like in a shitstorm. Like, it would just go downhill. Our farming, mainly California relies on them, but like over on the Midwest and everything, like
all the apple trees.
Yeah, like anything that requires what's the word for it?
Pollination.
Yeah, pollination. The honeybees is what mainly does it. So I was reading that 60% of the colonies died over winter, and scientists are trying to like hurry up and figure out like why they're dying and whatnot. I didn't find an answer. I tried to find an answer, but there's no answer yet. So hopefully that doesn't cause food prices and stuff to rise, because without all the honeybees pollinizing and everything, there's going to be less food and whatnot, fruit and all that crap. Uh, a guy kills a Walgreens worker because he hates big pharmacies.
That makes
And
that makes sense. I
I
can see how you connected the dots there.
well, I mean, that's kind of, I don't really agree with that.
Do you not know sarcasm?
Well, yeah, I do. I sent you the link in Discord.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I forget the guy's name. I ain't even worried about looking him up. But that's just crazy. Like, just think like if you're working in, Walgreens or whatever other pharmacy, and then some guy just comes in and that's insane.
And he thinks he's making a difference.
He does, I guess. I mean, the only thing he kept saying that I was reading is like he just hates big pharmacies. So I don't know where that's gonna go. Obviously, I don't think he's gonna be the only one doing it. Uh,
Man, what if bees are like the apocalypse scenario that no one's thinking about?
I mean, it could be possible. I actually thought about getting honeybees.
Like, what if all the bees just die, and then all vegetation just dies, and then so on and so forth?
I mean, we would definitely have like food shortages and
Yeah.
whatnot. But I actually thought about getting like those honeybee boxes and uh like tended to it or whatever.
My grandfather did that.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought about it, but then I was like, oh, like I'm gonna have to go up there twice or whatever a day. And
I think he said he had he worked with a guy that did it, but they had like 28 colonies.
Dang,
Yeah, that's a lot of bees.
I was riding. I don't know if I can give out the dude's location. It's on one of these back roads that we have, and I was just riding to someone's house, and I looked over, and somebody had like 3 of the boxes setting out, and I was like, huh. I've always wanted to do it, but I can't fit that into my time schedule right now. On other news, so the governor of Mississippi signed off on a bill to eliminate income tax, but that's only for the state of Mississippi. So, like, the people in the state of Mississippi don't have to pay the state taxes. They still have to pay federal taxes until if it ever happens, if Trump decides to eliminate income tax, which I don't see happening. I'm hoping that one bill goes through where they eliminate the overtime tax, but I don't see them eliminating the income tax entirely for federal. But I mean, that's the first state to eliminate the income tax.
What?
Mississippi.
What about Washington and Alaska?
I don't think they ever had it. So this is the state that had it and then took it away.
No.
So hopefully, we'll see what happens.
All right. What if bee apocalypse? Right.
You're really stuck on this bee apocalypse.
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets so bad that the government issues that every household has to have a colony of bees.
I mean, that's possible because during what was it, World War I or World War II, the government implemented some type of program to help each household have a victory garden, and this was to pretty much just feed the household, and if they have any excess vegetables or whatever, they can donate it to the war efforts, because most of the food that the companies and the government was generating was headed to the soldiers and whatnot and our allies and everything, which I think I don't want to get all doomy or whatever you want to call it, but Putin, the president or king of Russia, whatever you want to call him, one of his limousines that he rides in throughout Russia, somebody blew it up. So, and he just implemented some type of roundup for all the males in the country to be able to implement into their military. So he's trying to get more soldiers and whatnot. So I thought, Trump was gonna end this Ukraine debacle, but it doesn't seem to be ending. It just seems to be, catching back up. So we'll have to see what happens there.
It's gonna be great when we run out of oil.
Well,
you know what I think? All right, do you think that we will run out of oil on Earth before we either find a substitute or we go to like another planet? Well, I mean, the oil wouldn't be on another planet. It's all
no,
it's fossil fuels.
It's organic matter.
Yeah.
So the main, I was reading that most of the oil we get is from 600 to 700 million years ago, when there was this huge like tree forestry area. Before all the trees got huge and everything, there was just like bushes and fucking shrubs and stuff. Well, something happened that over millions of years, all that got compacted down. That's the oil that we're digging out and using. So
I wonder why there's such a high concentration in certain areas.
well, it's compacted. So 700 million years ago, a mile down below the ground or whatever, that was the surface.
Yeah, but like, why is it only like all oil comes from organic material, right?
Yeah.
So why is it so heavily condensed in like Alaska, Ukraine, Texas, right?
That I don't know.
Why is there so much of it in those areas?
I would have to, if I'm just guessing, I would have to say that plate tectonics. When the plates are moving, any oil is liquid, so any of the liquid that moves, I guess, would have to move in pockets. I don't know. I'd have to Google that to know more. But that's a pretty good question.
Maybe it's more spread out than we think. Maybe, I don't know. That's interesting.
I think it's interesting that there's, from what I was reading about this one article, that there's more water inside of the earth than there is in the ocean.
That's pretty wild if that's true.
So they found that there is a rock, and I can't remember. I think it's called like ringatite or something like that. But it's a like a mineral or whatever, and it holds in water. And they found that deep down into the crust and everything, that there's just like an ocean worth of water inside these minerals.
I wonder what's the deepest hole in the world.
I believe Russia dug it. I can't remember what it's called, but I do remember reading about it. But I can't remember the depth either. I think it was like 2 miles or something like that. Might not have been that.
It's probably gonna be more than that.
Hurry up and Google it, because I want to know it.
Okay.
I'm pretty certain Russia was the ones that did it. Take me a sip of water real quick while you Google that. Was it Russia?
The Kola Super Deep Borehole in Murmansk, Russia.
Yeah, I thought it was Russia.
40,000 feet in 1989.
Okay. What's that in miles length? 40,000 feet. That doesn't really seem like a lot.
That's 7.5 miles.
Oh, okay. Well, I was way off them. 7.5 miles. Dang. But I forget what I was going off about.
You didn't answer my question though. Do you think that we'll run out of oil or fossil fuels before we find an alternative? Or do you think that like nuclear
I mean, it
fusion?
It honestly depends on the companies and government and whatnot if they're really serious about changing it. The problem is you got all these huge oil companies,
Yeah.
and they just want to keep it like that
Mm-hmm.
because they're just getting all this money. So honestly, I think we'll probably run out, and then they'll find something after that. With the way how things are right now, unless they come out with some type of nuclear fusion engine or something,
I think even if they do, it's like
we still be stuck using gas and oil for a
for a
while.
long time, probably hundreds
Yeah.
of years.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. I got a video I do want to show you after I read this thing, though. So, Utah removed fluoride from their drinking water. It's the first state to do. And fluoride in our drinking water has no benefit toward us. In fact, it lowers your IQ. Do you know that?
I didn't know that, but I know it's connected to Alzheimer's.
Well, that's one reason why they tell you not to eat toothpaste with fluoride, because it does something into your brain and it blocks your neurons and it builds plaque around your neurons, so it kind of just like kills them.
I thought it makes your brain tissue absorb aluminum.
That it does too, or it absorbs metals and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I went through a little rabbit hole with that because I was like, you know what? Like, why do we have fluoride in our drinking water? And we have fluoride in our drinking water. I can't remember the guy's name. He was some huge fertilizer company. And when they make their fertilizer, they have all this excess fluoride. And to get rid of it, it would cost billions of dollars. Because it's dangerous to anyone's health, plants, humans, animals. So to get rid of it, they have to dispose of it in containers and whatnot. Well, somewhere in like the 80s or 70s, I think I read, uh, this company was able to partner up with a bunch of other companies, and they pretty much put out that fluoride's good for your teeth, which it is, but it isn't. So what fluoride does is it blocks certain chemicals when you brush with it, but it only lasts for like a couple hours. So there's better you know products to use other than fluoride.
Like charcoal.
Yeah. So basically, the fertilizer company sells all their fluoride to people that make toothpaste and mouthwash and stuff like that. That way, they ain't got to bury it.
You know that there's a special island in, I forget what country. It's a northern country. I want to say like New Zealand or something like that. And it's like they basically the island itself is made up of like, I think, basalt or bismuth or something like that. Uh, it's basically dead land, right? So it's useless.
Are you talking about God, what is that place called? I think I've read this before. Uh it's like a lake of salt,
No,
and it's toxic.
no.
No? All
I'm
right.
talking about something else.
Okay, go ahead. My bad. I thought
It's basically like useless land. Like you can't really do anything with it. So what do they turn it into? And it's like remote. It's in the middle of nowhere. Nuclear waste disposal site. So they dug like miles down into the earth and are like securing nuclear waste and stuff, right? Because that stuff lasts for
hundreds of
thousands.
thousands of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And idea popped in my head. Why don't we just Like, launch that shit
Launch it to the sun.
or something. I mean,
I think eventually when space travel becomes more common, because right now, like, only the ultra rich and uh, national security stuff can do that. But once we're able to like really reuse rockets, and we're able to eventually get some type of moon base, because we would have to have a moon base for any space travel to be valuable. Uh, that's probably what they'll end up doing. Is anything radioactive or anything, that's bad for human health or anything else, just to the sun. But the problem is I don't know how that would work, because once things get to the sun's gravity bends it. So the sun's gravity would take whatever's coming at it and make it grav, like, you get what I'm saying, and sling it out. Because
oh, like comets and
yeah,
stuff.
that's what comets and
Yeah,
asteroids do.
yeah.
And they're going at like 20 to 30,000 miles per hour.
That's actually a good point.
So
What about just like a dumb planet, like Pluto?
well, Pluto would be too far.
Well, we're talking like space travel and stuff
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
but I mean, I guess. All right, let's talk about if we had to do it today.
If we had to do it today, I'd probably pick Venus. Venus, we would never be able to visit. It's way too hot.
Or Mercury, really.
Mercury's too far. It's I would pick Venus because it's way too hot. Nothing's going to survive. We'd never use it. We might use eventually in like 1,000 years. We go into the atmosphere and get the methane and other gases that are
You ever seen the pictures of Venus's surface?
Yeah,
it's pretty sick. It's like green and stuff.
Yeah, I seen because they launched a probe down into it.
The Russians.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that would probably be the best place for it. Anything radioactive or whatever. But what if like we just throw so much junk on it that we eventually end up making something, like something mutates and lives off of the methane and can resist the heat or whatever? That'd be kind of crazy.
Why aren't we sending like bio products like into space, like trying to like?
Well, hypothetically,
because that's one of the theories on how like life started here is that we came
asteroids,
like organic material came in on an asteroid.
Yeah. I mean, I do know the Chinese have been working with stuff like that. They've been like they had this plant thing that they put on the moon just to see how long a plant would survive, with the sun rays and whatnot. I never really looked back into it, so I don't know what happened to it. Those little microscopic what are they called?
Sea monkeys.
Yeah, sea monkeys. Yeah, they put a bunch of those, and those survived, like in outer space in the vacuum.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. They're supposedly aquatic creatures that
they're
can
like
go dry for 100 years and then be put in some water and they'll live.
I bought a pack. This was like 8 years ago, because this is when I looked into them and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, to have something that's indestructible. And I bought a pack and they're like really, really tiny. And I gave it the food that it came with. I forget what it was. It was some type of green flakes or something. And they all died in like a week, or they crystallized, or whatever they do.
Yeah, I mean
they didn't move around anymore after a week.
They don't live long, as far as I know.
But yeah, I got a couple videos I want to show you.
All right.
And then we'll go to the Reddit questions. Let me see here. Oh, crap, wrong thing. Share the screen. All right, so did you get the COVID vax?
I had to, yeah.
All right, well, There's
story, and today she
Wait for that
spoke with
lawsuit.
well, there's been a bunch of things.
Hang on, let me repeat myself. Whenever there's audio like that, it never comes through.
It doesn't.
No. Like if we talk during a video, it's playing. Like you can't.
Our
You
voice.
can't hear us.
All right. So you think our voice? You can hear us right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good to know because I didn't know that.
Anyways, but yeah, I'm waiting for that lawsuit.
Well, 10 nurses. I forget. I think this was in Manassas, so this is pretty close to us. Working on the same floor, they all got brain tumors, and the doctor, whatever that was doing the thing, whatever, calculated that when the brain tumors happened was right after they got the COVID vax, and I don't remember which one they got, but yeah, so you're probably going to see a lot more, I guess situations like this.
I think there's gonna be a lot of lawsuits around COVID on how everything was handled.
Yeah.
Because like, not only the way that they like tested and made the vaccine, but then like it takes like 10 years of testing for the FDA to approve
Yeah.
a vaccine like that, and I mean they just bypassed
Well,
all that red tape.
Well, and the thing is, from what I've like listened to, because I've listened to
Oh yeah, we know.
all kinds
We
of
know.
podcasts and stuff, but this vaccine isn't like the others. Like this vaccine has to do with the DNA of it, and it changed it
Hmm.
to where it just keeps bringing in spike proteins. And do you know what spike proteins are?
No.
So I'm not very educational with all this, but from what I read, I could be wrong. The spike proteins are what the virus produces and what your body, your immune system recognizes. And what it did is it changed the spike protein to where your body couldn't recognize it. And so your body is just getting overfloated with all these, COVID vaccination, whatever's in them. It's just, keeps multiplying and your body has no idea that it's there. And that's what, these tumors and you're hearing about all these people having heart attacks and stuff like that. And that's what all this is apparently coming from.
Was it ever confirmed that COVID was man-made?
Yeah, actually, the CIA released a statement that it came from that lab in China.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So all that crap that Fauci and Biden and all them was just like, oh no, came from a bat, guys. Yeah, it did not. It came from bioengineering weapons lab.
I really hope someone out there is doing something about this.
I don't.
Maybe there's like a action movie going on right now. Someone's doing like a death vendetta, and they're going to China to hunt down all these fucking.
Well, the thing is the lab was financed by Fauci. So he paid.
I'm sorry, give me a second.
So he paid this lab in, I think I remember in like 2013, to be able to do like all these bioengineering things with all these different viruses. And then,
Sorry, go ahead.
And then all of a sudden, COVID happens. And then everybody's trying to cover it up. And I don't know about you, but like when it was all happening and like everybody was like all scared and like everything, I wasn't really that scared. I took it as like, it's just
bring it on.
Yeah, like if I get sick, I get sick. If not, like, it's just life. And I still wore a mask just because like I didn't want to.
I mean, you don't want to get sick.
Well, the thing is the mask ain't gonna help you.
Well,
because I was watching videos of where, I mean, you know how small a virus is, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
A virus goes right through the mask. A mask is not to shield viruses or anything like that. A mask is just to keep the bacteria and stuff from your mouth
From going out.
entering uh, an open wound or something. That's what the mask is and stuff is for. It's not to shield viruses. So if you have COVID, wearing a mask isn't doing shit. You're still going to spread it.
I don't know about that one.
Look
Chief.
it up.
I don't know about that one.
I've listened to a crap ton of podcasts, and they've all
All right. Here's a. I asked the wife this question.
okay.
Do you think that someone out there is actively trying to make a zombie-like virus?
Yes, I do.
All right. So, in your mind, what do you picture?
In my mind, I picture either somebody trying to weaponize the rabies
That's what I think.
virus, or they're going to try to weaponize the it's a fungus.
The shrooms.
Well, it's a fungus that
Cordyceps.
it's part of that family, but it's a fungus that attacks ants
Yeah.
and ant
Yeah,
colonies.
cordyceps.
Yeah, if they can weaponize that and infect humans, we'd be screwed.
Yeah, The Last of Us.
Yeah, because the fungus controls the ants and it makes it go back into their colonies, like deep down into the to wherever the most of them are at, and then it blows up its brain and
So you
body.
did. So you took the question wrong,
All
but
right,
it's
all right.
fine. I did enjoy your answer. So in my mind, I think so. The wife thinks that it's like a corporation that's doing it, like Umbrella from Resident Evil. I think it's more like a mad scientist, like an individual, like in the deep, like jungles of Africa, trying to make something.
I think it's both a government and corporation. Because the thing is a corporation is the one that's going to have to like design it and weaponize it and everything, but a government is going to have to fund it. I have no doubt that we have, programs, black programs or dark programs in our government that are doing it. You got to think about it, like all the stuff that like we don't even know about that's happening right now.
Oh yeah, didn't they make acid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the CIA put
Yeah.
out acid. They had like this whole operation,
Yeah.
and yeah. So, and you got to think like, not only is that happening in our government, it's happening in Russia, it's happening in China, it's happening probably Japan. I mean, I don't know, like,
I don't know. They seem pretty happy.
yeah, but I mean, regardless, I mean, it's happening more than just ours.
Yeah.
And the thing is you have no idea what's going on in Russia or China. And but yeah, that's the scary thing. Like all the dark black programs that nobody knows about that could be going on right now. Like there could be some type of program that like you said, like the zombie virus. Like they're just trying out going to some off island or whatever and releasing this, releasing that, just to see what happens.
If you got anything else to talk about?
Just my videos.
Oh, okay.
But you're more than welcome just to keep going.
If cloning was like a regular thing, or
I mean, it is if you're rich.
well, if you were given the option to clone yourself, either so first question is clone yourself. They're like a new person. They don't have any memories or nothing. Or second option, clone yourself. They have all your memories. Would you do it?
I mean, I could use some extra help. If I could just clone myself and just have him, like, all right, come on, Brad, number 2. We got to get those walls done. Or like, all right, come on. Got to change the brakes in the car. I'd like that. But I don't know. That gets to like a whole nother area of like, what if the other me starts to like
Plot against you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like wants to like implement like, like he sees me with my family and he's like, you know what? I kind of want a family. Like that's pretty much me. And then just like starts that like the plot things. I don't know. That'd be kind of scary.
You would have to like share like right down the middle. Like, all right, you get to cuddle the wife for 4 hours tonight, and I get to cuddle her for 4 hours.
You're playing with the kids today.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever get that far though. I don't think anything that would happen. Because once human cloning, if it does, happen, which I think somewhere it does, there would have to be like strict guidelines and rules. Because if not, it would just be chaos.
Mhm.
It would just be
Well, that's why cloning is illegal
yeah.
in most places.
But yeah, all right. Let me see here. I want to show you this other one. So I thought this was hilarious. This is a neighbor that got into it with his other neighbor, and he built a 15-foot high fence around his house.
Obviously, it's atrocious.
So this is the regular fence here.
It's way too high.
And now the neighbor that has a small fence is upset because the neighbor with the big fence is blocking his view of looking at other neighbors. That's pretty much what he's upset about.
And we're talking about this why?
I just thought it was funny. Let's see. Oh, this is pretty cool.
Everyone needs to pay attention to what's happening in China right now because for countries like the United States, it is terrifying.
So, China just implemented a flying taxi company. So, in their big cities or whatever, I think it's only going to start off in 2 of their huge cities. But they got these taxis that are pretty much flying drones. And they're going to start implementing them in those 2 cities just to see how it goes. And that's going to be insane. That's going to be like, what's that movie? Blade Runner. You see that? Where like all the that's where we're going to be at. So eventually, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever have that because we don't even have a fucking high-speed rail system. We're still using the old rails that we've had for the last 100 years. If we ever get it, it's gonna be pretty cool. Just think about like there's an app on your phone you can call this flying taxi, and it lands in your yard. You get in it, you put in where you want to go, and then it flies you to wherever you want to go. Obviously, there's probably going to be like a distance restriction. So you can only go like this far or whatever, but that's still gonna be pretty cool.
See, here's the thing about flying cars. No one ever thinks about the logistics of it.
What do you mean?
So you know how like with airplanes, there's air traffic controllers
Yeah.
like that sit in the towers and
Yeah, but
and they have to make sure none of the planes run into each other.
Yeah, but see here, these drones, from what I read, are like low altitude drones.
It doesn't matter. Another company starts up, takes their idea. Now they're competing against one another. They're flowing low altitude. They're not keeping track of each other's flight paths. Boom, they run into each other.
Well, hopefully they have sensors and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, if China's already doing this, they have some type of plan to not have.
Because China is perfect. I know, yeah.
I'm not saying China's perfect. It's just like they seem to be way ahead of us in like the futuristic terms of all that.
I think you mean Japan.
Well, that in Japan too. But I mean, like you look at our infrastructure and then you look at theirs.
They're nothing but sweatshops.
Well, they must be doing something right though. They look 1,000 times better than ours.
Have you?
And obviously, China's,
What's the capital of China?
I don't know. Was I supposed to know that? I think it's Shanghai. I could be wrong. That's just the name that popped in my head. But yeah, this is
Beijing.
Beijing. Okay.
So
This is still pretty cool.
oh,
Let's finish watching the video.
I'm having an aneurysm.
You see, for a while now, cheap shit from China has been the perception of products coming out of the country. And for years, while companies like Tesla blew up, there was a real hesitation to buy Chinese cars. However, fast forward just 5 short years, China has exploded to become the world's largest car producer and exporter in the world. That graph is unbelievable. In fact, last year, China sold 50% more cars abroad than the next largest exporter. Their largest
True.
car company, BYD,
Just talking about how they're making cars.
Trying to get
15 years. But
drone.
here's where things get interesting, because Joe Biden attributed China's meteoric rise to unfair business. And then ultimately, as a result, hold separate playing field altogether. And that
All right. Well, basically, they're manufacturing a lot of shit. All right. Let's see. There's one more thing I wanted to show you. This is pretty funny too.
Hang on. No, I want to get my thoughts out.
All right. Get your thoughts out while I look.
Downtown, any city in China is going to look the exact same, if not worse, than downtown anywhere here. I mean, New York, probably one of the, well, I mean, in my opinion, I think Portland, Oregon is the dirtiest city in all of America. But a lot of people say New
You
York.
think so?
Yeah. I hated that place so much. It's so dirty. I don't know, man. I just don't get your fascination with China.
I just wish we was more.
What? Obedient slaves
No, not
that do
obedient
everything
slaves.
that our totalitarian president tells us to do?
Nah, I just wish we had more like decorative infrastructure. Like go back like 200 years and there was like gargoyles on buildings
In
and-
China.
No, like around here and everything. Mainly in England. But like it just seems like we don't have any of that stuff. Like we just got bland
St.
buildings.
Louis? The Arch?
All right, we got one arch.
Golden Gate Bridge?
All right, well, I mean, we got a few things, but it's nothing compared to us.
The Empire State Building?
That's not that great. All right, so here's another thing. So, food stamps, you can no longer buy soda. And this is going to put a huge dent.
Not even diet soda?
Not even diet soda.
Mm.
So, if you have food stamps, you can no longer buy soda.
Well,
Which, I mean, I think that's kind of fair. You shouldn't be buying a bunch of junk crap if you can't afford food.
yeah.
So eventually, now that they've passed this, they're going to start implementing other stuff. So, like, you can't buy, like, cakes and Twinkies and all that other junk. But this is going to put a huge, like, hit on the soda companies. Because I was reading that EBT or whatever, food stamps, is like 40% of their annual budget. So they're going to lose billions.
I think sugar companies, except for Hershey, they're untouchable. But I think sugar companies in general are going to start
Well, I
to
mean,
die off.
Hershey's not untouchable. Hershey gets their chocolate from Africa, which uses slaves.
What's your point?
There's only one company I know of that makes chocolate that doesn't use slave work. and they get their chocolate from it's some country in South America. I think it's Chile, but it's Mr. Beast. His chocolate or whatever. He doesn't use any slave work.
Mm.
So I just thought you should know that. And I don't really like his chocolate. All right. I can't find. Oh, here it is.
And they understand.
So this is a pastor that pretty much, you could say kidnapped all of his congregation or whatever, and he told all of his live people that they had to donate at least $20 because for some reason he needed 40,000, and nobody was leaving there until he got his 40,000. And what ended up happening is somebody called the cops, and the cops arrested him. But what's your opinion on like mega churches like that? Because we've been watching a show called The Righteous Gemstones. It's a pretty good show. If you need a show to watch, like with you and your wife, watch this show because it's funny. It's got like different turns. Like it keeps you like entertained. I'll say I'm not as entertained as I was in Vikings, but this show's got me kind of hooked. So it's pretty good. It's about like the whole mega church type thing. But what's your opinion on that? Do you have an opinion on it?
What are you asking me exactly?
Like the whole mega church. Like it just seems like all they want is just the money.
Yeah.
They're not really.
Yeah, I mean it's just as bad as like TV pastors. You know? You ever heard of TV pastors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're God, what's that one dude's? I can't remember the one dude's name. He's like one of the biggest.
Yeah, but he's like the most evil.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, he looks like a demon or something.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You know, I mean, mega churches can be massive too. I wonder what the biggest one is in the US.
I don't know if it's just my way of thinking, but I don't see how people want to get pulled into that. I don't know if it's just like because for me, when I sit there and watch that, it feels wrong. Like, do you get that? You don't get that? So it's just me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, like, the pastor's just, collecting all the money. They're just mainly doing it for the money. Hypothetically, I got to say that. So I don't get, defamed or whatever it's called. It just seems wrong. Like, if you're truly to worship God, you shouldn't need all this stuff and all this money and all that
It should be funneled down to like all the other churches. But there's so many different churches. There's so many different lines of Christian. It's crazy.
That is true. There's so many different branches. Which you would think with the Bible, just being the Bible, there would only be like one church, Christianity. Why the need to branch off into all these other branches and everything? I never got that.
And neither did I. And then some people like know the differences between all of them.
I don't.
And that's just
I could only thing I can name Pentecostal,
Baptist,
Baptist, Methodist.
Methodist, yeah.
That's it. That's all I know.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Lutheran?
Oh yeah. But I don't know what any of them mean though.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But anyway, regardless. So you remember when you was talking about that box that all the Muslims or is it Muslims? I think it's Muslims. They worship.
Yeah, well, not a box, a meteorite.
Well, it's the box covering it. This is what that is. The weird thing is, let me pause this real quick. This popped up a day after we talked about that. So I know for a fact my phone listens to me.
Does that bother you?
A little bit. It
Why?
does.
Why?
I don't know. It's just weird, like how how things. I don't know. I don't think it should be listening to me. Like it should use what I implement into it. It should use what I implement into it, and that's it. It shouldn't be constantly listening to everything I talk about and like I don't know. It's
Invasion of
yeah,
privacy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is that. I just wanted you to see this.
If you look under me right here, you're going to see 3 million people here for one purpose, and that one purpose is to worship Allah alone. People here are fighting to get a spot in prayer. They're not fighting to get $1 million. They're not fighting to get a new Ferrari. They're fighting for a spot in prayer to get the hasanat where we work. Life is really about to worship Allah alone. Look how many people there is. Oh my God, mashallah.
And that thing is like in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It does look pretty cool though. I don't necessarily think I would go there. I think that's all I got. Oh, you want to know what a virus looks like?
I know what a virus looks like.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look how weird that looks.
And then it pierces and then
Doesn't
shoots it down in there.
Doesn't that look mechanical?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Doesn't even look like a life form. I thought that was pretty cool. That's why I saved it. But anyway.
Well, I think we're out of time, man.
All right, wait a minute. We're not out of time yet. I got these questions I gotta ask.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't even get to the Reddit things. We talked about too much shit. All right. So I'm trying to make it a habit of just like us answering questions and whatnot. And each time they may change. So this question is: if you found out your partner was cheating, how would you react?
Murder, suicide.
Murder, suicide?
Yeah.
Dang, you'd go that.
Unless I had a kid, then no. I mean, still murder, but not suicide.
Would you confront the other person?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would too. I mean, I have. I have been cheated on before, and I didn't take it well, and caused a lot of drama. Now that I've went through it all and I look back, I feel like I would try to take a different road. But when you're in that moment, none of that matters. Like none of this, like, oh well, I might take, like, just leave it. I might take like a different route or whatever. But then when you're in that moment and like, you're going through all the emotions of being hurt and just angry, and you just want to lash out. I would hope that since I have experience with it now, that I would be the bigger person and, maybe go down a different route. Hopefully I never experience that again, because that sucked. But yeah, it just sucks. But I'm hoping if I ever do have to go through that again, I would pick a different option, because the option I went with, like lashing out, going after people, damaging property, all the other stuff, it didn't really turn out well for me. So for anybody that needs to hear that, do your best. All right, so here's another question. How do you deal with the days when everything feels heavy or pointless? Do you just lay in bed all day? Do you, for me personally, because I'll have these like maybe one day every 2 weeks to 3 weeks, somewhere in there, where I'll just get up and just like, well, I'm not doing this today. I'm like, I don't know what that is. What do you think that is? Is that just like, Is that just exhaustion?
I mean, it can be.
Is
Yeah.
that like,
Loss of motivation.
yeah. But whenever I go through there or go through it, I try to force myself to at least do one thing. So like whatever I had planned that day. Usually I try to plan multiple things, but I'll try to at least get one done. And that way I have like a self victory.
Yeah, at least you accomplished something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't just a waste of a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't answer it.
I mean, I'll usually drink like a shit ton of caffeine.
Caffeine?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm off my soda kicks. Or I'm still on my soda kick. So I'm still just drinking water. I'm going to try to keep it up for as long as possible until my willpower gives out.
All right, next question.
What do you think is the root of most people's suffering?
What the fuck?
This is like,
What the fuck are these questions?
I don't know.
One more time. One more time.
All right. What do you, this is going to be a hard one to answer. What do you think is the root of most people's suffering? Me personally, I think it's probably people are self-conscious and insecure of themselves.
I think greed.
Greed?
I think it's always like I want what someone else has,
Yeah, I don't know.
or like you. I think it kind of ties in with yours, like comparisons. You're always comparing yourself to someone else.
Yeah,
You know,
I try not to do that.
I do it a lot.
I find if you get out of comparing everything and just live your life, it's usually a little bit happier and a little bit stressful or stressless. All right. Do you think most people are pretending they're okay? I think so. I think probably about 70%. Man, that seems a little high. Maybe 60% are faking it. They're probably just going through it. Because, everybody's got something going on.
I agree with 60.
Yeah.
I agree with 60. Yeah.
So I think like 60% of people are just faking whatever.
Well, it's just the reason I say 60 is there's a lot of dumb people out there, and dumb people tend to be pretty happy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess it's true. Like, the more you know, the less happy you'll be. But to my question, yeah, I do think the majority of the people are faking it. And sometimes, that's how you got to be in life, just to get through whatever situation you're in.
Fake it till you make it.
I don't think
I think it's okay to fake it. It's like, is it okay? Some people could be like, well, you're just pretending. It's like, well, not necessarily. Like, I'm trying to present to the world the me that I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I try to get some people to do. Like a friend of mine, he tends to have no motivation to do anything. And then, my answer is, just force yourself and fake it until you get to where you have the motivation to do things. But yeah, God, we've been going for quite a bit now. So yeah, guys, you got anything else? All right. So, we didn't even talk about the building, which I got to give you that wire.
have we mentioned the building?
I don't think we have.
Let's leave it a surprise.
All right, we'll leave us. Wow, I already made a TikTok.
All right, so hopefully, maybe within like 2 weeks' time, guys, we're gonna have a different scenery. We're moving to my house.
Yeah, we're gonna use one of Sean's buildings for the podcast, so I ain't gotta keep moving things. It could just be set up. We just get there, start on it, and ain't gotta worry about this or that. And I want to try. You know, we talked about doing the posters or the slideshow. I kind of want to try to do both. Like, see if we can't like just have the TV behind us, doing slides, and we'll have like the emblem,
Yeah.
and then we'll just have like 4 or 5 slides.
We can talk about this off
yeah,
camera.
yeah, all right. But eventually, we are going to move the podcast and change the scenery and whatnot. See if that changes anything. But yeah, like always, if you want to reach out and talk to us, we'll give you poor therapy on whatever situation, or if you just want to talk about whatever, like that's mostly what we do until we can get people to talk to us, because that seems to be like the hardest thing. I am gonna promote a couple of our videos in the next couple weeks, so I'm gonna spend some money and trying to grab other people and whatnot. But yeah, if you want to reach out, we have the number down right here. Text it. We'll set it up. If you want to text in your problems or whatever, and we read it on screen and give you our opinions or poor therapy, you can do that as well. But like always, hope you have a good night, and we will see you next Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Later. Boy.